Let me thank the Georgia Public Policy Foundation on this award dinner and tell you how grateful I am that you let me say a word or two about a great Georgian and a great American. I first met Truett Cathy at the Dwarf House in Hapeville. I used to represent the Dwarf House, and we'd go and sit and talk and listen to the stories about when it was first founded and how he first ran it and what he did back when he only had that one restaurant. He hadn't even invented yet Chick-fil-A. And we talked about how good America had been to him, how hard he'd worked, the principles he believes in, the values that he lives. Then he began telling me about all the wonderful things he's doing up in Rome, Georgia, and how he's helping at Berry College, and the way he's reaching out to young people and helping them have a better future. Truett Cathy is the kind of American that makes America such a unique country. Entrepreneur, hard worker, family man, philanthropist, volunteer, a man who lives what he believes.
My dad had a rural insurance route. At that time, his contribution to the family was chickens and lard and sorghum syrup and other things that people pay the insurance premium on. So it was up to my mom really to be the breadwinner of the family. We take in boarders. And it was there that I learned how to shuck corn, shell peas, wash dirty dishes, set the table, and go shopping with my mom. So I tell people I really got started in the restaurant business at age 8. I noted that back then you could buy Coke 6 for a quarter. So I thought in my mind I'd say accumulate the 6 bottles in the quarter and buy those and peddle around to my neighbors for a nickel a piece and recognize a 5-cent profit. I also determined in my mind early that I would someday have a business off my own because I enjoyed my work. I was enthusiastic about it and learned some principles about committing yourself to your work that carried with me up even today. The importance of pleasing that customer, being dependable, and that did a lot for me to prepare me for a business life sometime later on. After World War II, I was discharged from the Army, and my brother about the same time. My brother and I pooled our resources. We bought a lot. We built a building, and we stocked it and equipped it. But it was a 24-hour operation, 6 days a week. We determined at that time that we would close on Sunday. I was single, so I got me a room right next door to the restaurant. What time I was not working, I was there trying to grab a few hours of rest, but I made myself available. If the people need me any hour, all the thing they had to do is come and tap on the window, and I'd be there pronto. Our family, we had hardships.
As I look back on his life, it's a lot that happened in his life in the first few years of business when he lost both of his brothers in the airplane crash. He lost his mother. She passed away during that time in the first few years of being in business. And I think that really prepared him on how to handle difficulties and problems later on.
Back in 1960 when the Dwarf House in Forest Park burnt down. It was in the middle of the night when we received a call, and I was still in bed.
It did burn to the ground, and you ask yourself, you know, what did I do to deserve this? And I guess at times like this, you could lose a degree of faith in the Lord when you realize something that has happened as devastating as a fire. But we recovered from that.
He doesn't overreact. He is not easily shocked. He will respond calmly and in faith and commitment. So discernment's a big, big thing with him. Some people might see a 4-alarm fire when he would just see smoke and say, let's get the facts before we overreact.
But Truett has this uncanny ability of a visionary to be able to see what will or might happen. For instance, when he invented the chicken sandwich, the world was not clamoring for a chicken sandwich. As a matter of fact, it was a hamburger crazy world.
He has taught 13-year-old boys now for 40 years or so. The Sunday school boys, I remember one class that called him True, gave him the little label True. My son was in that class. And I thought that was a great testimony to who he is as a person. He really was true and genuine. When 13-year-old boys look at you and know that you're without camouflage or hypocrisy, but you're for real, then you're for real.
I had a boy come into my class who was 13.
And I was under some unique circumstances. My parents had been killed, and I was coming to live with an aunt and uncle.
Knowing those circumstances, I gave him a lot of my time.
And he conveys trust, and any 13-year-old who finds someone, specifically an adult, who can communicate to them and convey trust and show interest, they're willing to open up and to become a friend.
There are individuals out there that are just victims of circumstances.
Some people are under the misperception that he gives away everything. Well, he meets people halfway. He provides a way for you to have respect and to earn things, and he will match what you may be willing to earn yourself. And that's a great principle of stewardship.
The number one problem in America today is unloved children. If we want to turn around in America, we ought to get back to the Bible, get back to prayer and pledging allegiance to the flag, and some of the things that you and I were brought up, the kids nowadays deny. We should all work together toward having a balanced budget, just as we do in our home life, as well as our business life. If we can't operate forever on somebody else's money. My mother was in bad health, and for a period of time, we went to Truett Homes and lived there. But we couldn't make it there because we couldn't afford to pay the rent. But we never went on welfare. Our nation is in problem. I have a problem of helping people. There are people that deserve our help and assistance. But still, there are others, it's the worst thing that you can do. God is concerned about the welfare of every individual. And I see no conflict between biblical principles and good business practice. A lot is written in the Bible about how we should conduct ourselves in our relationship to our fellow man, to our employees. And I think God has showered upon me a lot of extra, more than what I need, or even desire, that I might assist other people. There are a lot of things that have brought me a lot more joy than just accumulating material things.
The happiest I've seen him is when he's got a bunch of kids around him. They're crawling all over his lap. And when he's got them leading in a happy cheer, is everybody happy? Yeah, man, H-A-P-P-Y. He loves when they holler out.
For him to receive the hug of a child, to run up and just jump up in his lap and give him a big hug, always brings tears to his eyes. I mean, he just wells up inside with joy.
In fact, when we have a business meeting on the first floor here in the building, we tease each other, you better close the blinds, because if children come in the building, Truett will just get up and leave our meeting and go visit with the kids.
Persons have to decide how they're going to spend what they have. They can buy jet airplanes, resorts in very exotic places, or they can build foster homes. So he provides the homes and the foster parents and the provision, so it's become a real dream for him.
I'll tell you one story about Jennifer and Michael, who they was threatened to take them away from her and put them up for adoption. And I said, well, before I do that, I will become their legal guardian. And she's a very precious little red-headed, freckle-faced little girl that anybody would be pleased to claim as their granddaughter. And she came to me and she said, now, Grandpa, you're now my guardian angel, aren't you? I said, yeah, Jennifer, I'm your guardian angel, and I always will be.
He likes to say that if you want to plant for the day, plant a flower. If you want to plant for the years, plant trees. But if you want to plant for eternity, then plant ideas and ideals in the lives of people. And he's an activist from that standpoint.
I remember Dad was very loyal and always going to our sporting events where Dan and I were wrestlers. It seemed like he was at each wrestling match, and some of those matches started probably at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock before the workday had ended, and I didn't realize that till I'm a father and being in business and what that means, trying to break away early from the workday and try to get to an athletic event to see your children. So it's meant a lot to me now.
My brother and I put our money together one summer, and when we were in high school and bought a motorcycle together, and he got riding it so much that we decided to get one for him. So he was off on a business trip, and we went down to the local Kawasaki dealer, and we bought one and charged it to him and parked it in the living room. And when he came in one night, he cranked it up right there in the middle of the living room. And the smoke was going everywhere, and Mother was getting all upset. She said, "Get that thing out of the house." But he's been on it ever since then and just loved it.
I have been at Georgia State, now retired, for 50 years as a student, as a teacher, and as an administrator. During that period of time, many students have come to see me and to talk with me. And invariably, they will mention Truett Cathy and Chick-fil-A. And they will say that the only reason that they are in college is because of the scholarship they received through Chick-fil-A. Truett truly loved young people, and he truly wants each one of them to be a leader.
This young person will say, well, someday when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And Truett will respond to that young person and think, well, if that's the case, I really better be on my best behavior. And that just communicates a lot more than a lot of folks would say, well, I thank you there, son. You know, I've done a great job. You know, look at me. You know, I really impressed this young person. But, you know, Truett takes it to another level, and he realizes that he still has a role in that person's life, and he still has responsibility in that person's life.
His wife, Jeanette, is as dear as Truett is. His daughter, Trudy, Dan and Bubba, all of them really have the same persona that Truett does of caring and giving.
Dad, I love you. Thank you for letting me be your second son. And I love you and Mom very dearly. And you're a very special person. So I'm happy. H-A-P-P-Y.
But there's a lot of things that we could do to influence our children as well as other people. If we just do it, we realize that we have the power to change people's lives if we take advantage of unexpected opportunities.
Truett, Rosa, and I would like to join the Georgia Public Policy Foundation, your family and friends, in honoring you on this truly memorable evening. Your efforts and contributions have made a tremendous impact upon thousands of lives throughout our state. You've graciously made your resources available so that others could also benefit from your success. As you observe the 50th anniversary of Chick-fil-A and reflect upon their awards acquired through hard work, perseverance, and sacrifice, we celebrate you as an individual who leads by example and who believes in giving to the future by investing in the youth of today. Congratulations, Truett, and warm wishes for continued and lasting success in all you do.